At what point are we going to start trying to attract listeners and followers
I
and
think
people?
we hit our peak.
Hang on.
Well, welcome back to this episode of Hang On with Nick and Blake. Now that's a good idea. Finally, we get to the heart of it.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah.
Boom bam bam clickety clack. We're good. I had someone who listens to the podcast tell me that they liked my episode a lot and they thought it was a great idea. And they could see it, the Uber karaoke.
Yes, it is a good idea.
And they were like, I could see that being a huge thing.
It's easy too.
It'd be really cool if we could make a ride share that was just for the karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in a big city with
Or just a lively downtown area.
Yeah. When I say a big city, I don't necessarily mean it has to be like Manhattan or Boston, but even like Saratoga during track season. And you were like, oh, I'm going to get I don't want to call it a party bus, but I'm going to get a party bus type thing and just do karaoke, Uber karaoke.
What about those, they do bars with it where everybody has like a cycle and you sit down and it just bikes around the town. And
yeah. I'm not trying to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pedal my way to It's 2019. We've evolved past me pedaling a bicycle.
That's true. Speaking of transportation, I'm going to buy a Cybertruck.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to get a good deal on the one with the broken windows?
I would take that one. That's fine. They're not broken.
They're actually. I looked into the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I like the Cybertruck.
It
Hot
is
take.
amazing.
I like it because it's an electric car that doesn't look like a regular car. One of the things that pisses me off about electric cars is you don't have to have an engine.
No.
You could make your car look like anything
you want to.
But yet you make it look like a regular car. Pisses me off. So I saw the Cybertruck. I'm like, that thing is ugly. It's hideous.
It's so good.
However, it looks so different, and I want it.
Yes.
And anyway, where I was going.
The base model was $40,000.
It's cheap. Yeah, it's not. Well, we've done this with Tesla before. You'll never be able to buy one for $40,000.
That's true.
The cheapest you'll ever find one is like 70.
But that's
But still not. I mean,
do you know how much a new truck is? These
yeah,
days?
I mean they're in the
It's
50s
insane.
to 70s anyway. So.
And did you see that an ATV could drive into it and you could charge it off the main battery?
I did see that. That was kind of cool.
So cool. I don't drive ATVs.
My problem is not problem, but I'm interested that range they gave, the 500 mile or whatever on some of them. That's not towing anything. Like, what does it become once you're towing, 10,000 pounds or whatever?
That's a good question.
But it is cool. I do like it. I think the armor and the bulletproof windows is a little
much.
A little overkill. I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah.
But
I wish that they would make a car, like you said, that doesn't look like a car. I also don't want a 2 or a 4-seater. I just want a car that I can drive to work in. Let me save all of the weight of the extra chairs and doors and just have a singular module. It's fine if it's electric or gas. I just want to get to work and back.
I think if you had a company that did that and it was cheap enough, people might be interested in that. The funny thing is most people spend the majority of their time driving alone in their vehicles. But then they go buy these big, huge vehicles that carry 8 people.
Just in case.
Just in case, right?
Yeah, for that one time in Christmas where you got to load presents and bring the 2 kids.
I think if you could make a single-person car that was cheap enough, I would be interested in that.
Right.
Almost like a enclosed motorcycle.
Yes, like a step up. More stable, though.
Yeah, with 4-wheel, yeah. And safety.
Yeah. Like the smart car was an interesting size, but then you try to squeeze 2 adults in it, and you're out.
Yeah. And maybe even something for aerodynamic sake that was maybe held 2 people, but you sat tandem, one in front of the other.
Oh, that's interesting. I think it all has to come down to insurance.
Price.
Yeah. Well, price for that too. But probably insurance companies don't know how to quote it.
Well, I think also by the time I'm just thinking about now, the size of the vehicle you'd have to have with an engine and having some space for safety if you got into a collision. I don't know how much you would save by only having one like a one-person car. Like 2-person cars make sense. People say they don't. They're like, oh no, you got to have a car that does everything. Why? Like the majority of the time I drive my car to and from work. Like,
Yes.
I've owned a lot of cars, as you know.
Yes.
And I've owned a lot of sports cars, and people are like, oh, I can't believe that you daily drive that or whatever. It's like,
Why not?
Most of the time it's me by myself driving to work.
Yes.
I don't need, they're like, but they're very impractical. I'm like, in what way? Like,
So is a Suburban if you have one person.
yeah,
in it.
yeah, exactly.
Trying to park large cars is difficult. It's insane. And the range of electric cars, like, can you imagine just the 20 miles maybe it takes to get to work and back? That's a 40-mile range you need. And most, like, very low-level electric cars can get you 150.
I think the big deal is you can't have, most people are not going to want to have that as their only car.
That's true.
So then they're going to have another car. And so then they're like, well, where am I storing this thing? And it would have to be cheap. If someone could go out and buy a $5,000 personal vehicle that was electric that they could get to and from work, I think people would be into it. But I don't think people are going to spend another $10,000 to $15,000 on another electric vehicle that they can drive to work.
That's fair.
All right, so I had an idea. I haven't fully fleshed this out yet, but
That's fine. That's why we're here.
It's kind of like an interesting concept. App on your phone.
Love it.
Very simple. You get a notification, and you have the ability to put in a quarter. Well, we're just going to say a quarter. So 25 cents
Okay.
to this pool of money. And some predetermined number, whatever number you are. So it would be a chain. So it'd go one person at a time.
Like a token ring?
Yeah, you don't know what the pool of money is up to. You don't know what number you are. You don't know anything. It just comes to you and it says, do you want to put a quarter in? And somewhere before this chain of text messages asking for quarters, there was a predetermined number. And if you are the number and you put in the quarter, then you win the entire pot. So it's almost like
It's a gambling.
I don't know if that counts as gambling.
What's that one where they come to your house with a big envelope because you had
Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that gambling?
I don't know.
I feel like if you sign up for a service and donate, it's not gambling.
Yeah. So my original idea is that you would have a similar idea, some chain where people would donate a penny or 25 cents or something like that, and you would donate it until it got to the point where somebody was like, yep, I'm going to cash that out. Then I realized that it would never get past 50 cents because the first time somebody was like, oh, I can make 25 cents, and I would just sit there on the app and make 25 cents over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It would be kind of an interesting social experiment. Like, hey, here's this thing. You put 10 cents into it. Because how many times do you get change at a
store?
At a store, and you just throw it into the grab a penny tray? Maybe even you would call it the give a penny, take a penny. But
app. Everybody's taking the penny.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Like, you could set the donation as low as you wanted to. Like, hey, I'm going to throw in like $1 to this pot, or like not $1. I'm going to throw in 10 cents to this pot, or I'm going to throw in a penny to this pot. And then somebody who actually needs money is like, oh, well, I really could use $10 right now because I'm broke. I don't get paid for another day. I really could use $10 to go buy some food or dinner or something like that. So I'm going to take this $10 out, and I'll give a penny next time. I don't know if that would ever work. But it's like an interesting social experiment because if you got a bunch of people who are just giving a penny, that
right,
and it's that someone's doing nationwide or worldwide, that pool could get pretty large pretty quick. And if you're the person to take it one time and then you donate again, no one's really making or losing any money. You're just kind of moving, or I don't know. It's just, I feel like it could be a cool social experiment. But then I realized that probably the pots would never get very large because somebody would just be like,
$10.
Yeah. So then I was like, what if you had something that would send notifications to people one at a time, and then they're like, hey, you can put in 10 cents to have a chance at winning up to, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I think I would do it.
Would you do $1 for $1 billion?
Yeah, maybe there's different.
But that sounds a lot like the lottery.
It's more like a slot machine, I guess, because you're just hoping that you're the right number.
Okay, so you're saying instead of Powerball, they have to pick a number instead of a random number.
App would generate a number, 100. So the 100th person to put into the pot wins the pot.
Yeah.
But no one knows the number.
Well, so I think that's a good idea in and of itself. There's 1,000 people involved, and we'll say someone's going to be a winner, and then you put in money, and then somebody wins. I think there's another one where you have like a rotating people putting in and then could cash out.
I think the people putting money in and then just picking a winner, although this literally the same exact thing, kind of takes away some of the, like, in my vision, this app you would just download and you couldn't really sign up for anything except for like how much you were willing to give it, buy in at any given time. So you're like, the max I'm willing to spend at any given time is $1. And you may go 2 or 3 days without getting a notification. You may get a notification within the first 10 minutes, but you have no control. And then you just get a text message and it's like, hey, do you want to put in $1 for this raffle or whatever you want to call it? And you're like, yeah, sure. And then you don't win. And then the next time it's like, hey, do you want to put in a penny for this raffle? And it's like, yeah, sure. Well, you put in a penny and you won $1.50 or, something like that.
Yeah.
It seems like a very gray area I like gray area gambling ideas because people love to gamble, but I can't start a casino.
That's true. If you could gamble any single way on a cell phone, I think you would make a lot of money.
I know, and that's why I think this would be great, because I think it'd be something people like simple things, and it'd be something that you don't even have to, you wouldn't even have to think, ooh.
Oh, man.
Okay, so
I see it bubbling.
So similar idea, same thing, but you know how they have the apps that like save money?
Like Honey? Like the one that does all the diagnostics on what you're buying?
No, the one, I can't remember. I use it for little acorns where you buy something for $1.75 and it rounds up to the next nearest dollar, and it puts that next 25 cents into an investment account.
Yeah, okay. Banks do that sort of thing.
Yeah. So what if in this app it rounded up your purchases to the next dollar, but it put all of that change into
a pool.
Like a pool or like a sweepstakes thing.
Ooh. Yeah, it's a small amount, but if you get enough people, you make a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just looked at Bank of America and it's like, hey, your keep the change thing, how much money goes into the savings account every year? And you're like, $100 million. You're like, all right, here we go.
A lot of times people have change and they're like, I really don't know what to do with this. And if they could gamble it, quote unquote, in a fun way by using this app, I think people would be all over that.
Well, yeah, it's like when you're at Dave & Buster's or any sort of game and you're like, I got 2 tokens left. Let me just throw it in the last game before I leave.
Yeah.
Don't even care what the game is. I can tell you the next billionaire in the United States is whoever the first person to launch a casino app on a phone that gets approved by the government.
Well, it just won't be. Well, if it is, it'll be some,
Are we in a free country if I can't gamble on my phone?
The problem with the gambling on your phone is people are going to be super leery of that. So you just have to make it
fun,
as cut and dry and fun and as simple as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because I had an idea a long time ago of basically, how people have lottery pools at work?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who live in states who don't have lottery, and so they'll drive to other states to buy lottery tickets. And I thought of, what if you just had an online thing where people could go and basically, quote unquote, buy lottery tickets through your pool and then just split it.
Yeah, I agree.
And it existed. I looked and there were apps that did it, and it doesn't seem like there's anything legally against it. It's kind of like a gray area.
Just where you live.
I do enjoy the gray area.
Hang on. Thank you for listening to our show. To participate, send your comments or business ideas to thehangonpodcast@gmail.com. Keep us motivated by subscribing to us on YouTube and iTunes. And tell a friend. This is the Hang On Podcast. It was an honor. See you next week.